Hello, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placement. Time travelers, happy to have you here. This is your exclusive first quarter reading. This will cover January, February, as well as March for 2026. If you're not sure what your placements are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. As always, keep in mind this is a collective general reading, so just take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't, and as always, check your other placements. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Aries collective now for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What does Aries need to know for January, February, and March of 2026? What does the Aries collective need to know? One more shuffle here. Thank you. January, we have the Queen of Cups, we have the Star, and we have the Hierophant. For February, you have the Ace of Wands, you have the Queen of Pentacles, and you have the Chariot. For March, you have the Five of Cups, you have Judgment, and you have the Empress. The underlining energies for the first quarter is the Seven of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the Eight of Cups. That leaves a Queen of Wands, King of Swords, Wheel of Fortune here at the bottom of the deck. Let's clarify these cards for you using the After Tarot deck. So for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements, we are clarifying January, February, and March of 2026. For January, we are clarifying the Queen of Cups, the Star, and the Hierophant. For February, we are clarifying the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Chariot. And for March, we are clarifying the Five of Cups, Judgment, and the Empress. For Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Queen of Cups is clarified by the Six of Cups. The Star is clarified by the Page of Swords. The Hierophant is clarified by the Page of Wands. The Ace of Wands is clarified by the Hierophant. The Queen of Pentacles is clarified by the Eight of Swords. The Chariot is clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. The Five of Cups is clarified by the Ace of Cups. Judgment is clarified by the Queen of Swords. And the Empress is clarified by the Nine of Wands. Again, the underlining energy here is the World, the Chariot, and the Two of Swords. That leaves the Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Ten of Cups here at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you're changing your mindset on something here in the first quarter of 2026, Aries. So when we look at your January energies, this is fascinating. Oh, there it is. I feel like you're changing your belief on something here. Something that you, and this could be a person, place, or thing. Okay, this is your energy. This is you looking back to a situation, environment, or connection that has been in your life for quite some time. And in the month of January, the Page of Swords to the Star card, I'm almost getting this feeling like you're trying to figure out, it's a little bit of a detective energy here. Do I still want this in my life? The Hierophant to the Page of Wands continues to say, I need to discover if whatever this is, this person, place, or thing, whether it's in respect to career and finance or love and romance, does it still align with who and what I am? Do I want to continue exploring it? Do I want to move on from it? There seems to be a question here in the Aries collective of possibly breaking away from something that has been established in their life for quite some time. Again, whether that's a situation, environment, or connection. So your month of January here seems to be, do I still want to exist with this person, place, or thing? For February, we have the Ace of Wands to the Hierophant, the Queen of Pentacles to the Eight of Swords, and the Chariot to the Nine of Pentacles. There is a moment in time here where you are curious about whether or not you should continue existing in whatever this Hierophant is. Now, in a career and finance reading, the Hierophant could be your own business if you're, self-employed or an entrepreneur. For others of you, the Hierophant could be in regards to a long-term committed partnership in your life. It could also represent the construct of a friend group, a family group, a community, or maybe even political organization or religious belief that you have. In the month of February, there seems to be a quest here of maybe this does suit me. So January, you're undecided. February, early on February, is kind of like, well, maybe I can make this work for me. But then we have the Queen of Pentacles to the Eight of Swords. And this is the energy of someone who's changing their mind and saying, no, I'm going to free myself from whatever this is that has been established in my life for quite some time. And then we have you in the Nine of Pentacles to the Chariot saying, in order for me to have any level of success or happiness or maybe even stability in my life, I need to move on from whomever or whatever this is. And so we have you in this Nine of Pentacles energy in February, deciding to move on from whomever or whatever this is. Now we don't, after that, we don't have a lot of fire here, and except for this Nine of Wands. So even in March, I feel like you're still existing in whatever this is. But it's almost like you're now becoming devoted to a new path here in the month of March. We have the Five of Cups to the Ace of Cups. This is moving towards something new here with some remorse and regret for having to leave behind something here that's been established in your life for quite some time. And again, something that it appears here that you've been wrestling with for quite some time. I don't think you necessarily hate or dislike whomever or whatever this is. There seems to be some fond memories here at this job, with this organization, with this friend, with this family member, with this lover. But it's just this internal conflict here that you have. And it looks like by the end of February, you're deciding to become single, free, and independent of it. But I don't actually see you taking those actionable steps. In March, you become more dedicated towards the new path. Judgment to the Queen of Swords. This is internal to you. You can see your truth now, and you're becoming more emotionally and psychologically ready to move on from whomever or whatever this is. But Empress to the Nine of Wands is giving me the feeling here in March of, even though I'm ready to birth something new in my life or rebirth something in my life, like in a different direction, I still have to exist with whomever or whatever this is. And it's a little bit of a struggle for you to do that. So this is definitely, by the time you get to March, if I had to break this down in terms of 1 foot in and 1 foot out, it's almost like in January, this is the heart being 1 foot in the old world, 1 foot in the new world, so to speak. And then in February, the psychological part kicks in, where it's now you're emotionally as well as psychologically 1 foot in the old world, 1 foot in the new. And then here is like the definitive marker of, until I can officially walk away, I need to exist within both. So we have the Seven of Cups, the Three of Swords, and the Eight of Cups here. This is like starting to take the inspired action in this Queen of Wands energy here to look for new options, new choices, new pathways. But still with that Three of Swords to the Eight of Cups, some remorse and regret that the situation, environment, or connection just didn't work out the way you once thought it would. And again, we see that with the emotional connection here with that Queen of Cups to the Six of Cups. Again, if this is a job or a friend or a family member or a lover, I don't feel like you necessarily hate it. I just feel like your beliefs in regards to it have changed. Like it's no longer aligned to you. And so with the World card to the Chariot to that Two of Swords, the underlining energy here is, I need to close this out and move on from it. I do believe that your decision here is definitive. I don't think you're walking this back, just because I see the emotional anguish, I see the psychological anguish, and then I see the need here to have to exist in two worlds. So let's say this is, I don't know, within the dynamic of a marriage. I'll say that because I have the Hierophant card here twice. This could be, I really don't dislike this person. I don't hate them. I don't wish them ill. But I just don't know if we're aligned anymore. And then February, again, this is only the example I'm giving you. You apply this to your life how you see fit. And then February is like, no, I mentally know now that even though I don't have great disdain for, my spouse, I still know that our paths here need to part. I'd like to become single, free, and independent of it. And then here it looks like you're either beginning to invest in someone else in March, or you're just investing in yourself. So it's almost like I'm making the investment in respect to the new life path, but I'm not filing for divorce. Again, this is just an example. And if we want to put this in the context of career and finance, I don't really hate my job. I just feel like I've outgrown it. And there's a lot of back and forth. Like maybe you like what you do, but not who you do it for, or vice versa. And then in February, you're like, well, maybe I can make it work. And then you're like, no, I really can't. There's a little second guessing here. And then there's like, no, I can't. I either need to go off and start my own company, or I need to just find another place of employment. So you're closing off the first quarter of 2026, knowing that you'll leave this job. Again, that's just an example. And then March here seems to be, it's time to look for a new job, but I'm not going to quit this job until I find a new job. So the underlining energy here is you leaving something or someone that has been in your life for quite some time. There's an emotional as well as a psychological impact here. And then you're closing off the quarter saying, I am definitively moving on from this person, place, or thing. I want to see if I can further clarify just a couple of these cards for you, and then we'll close off your reading with some oracle cards and, of course, the kippers. So if I had to name this video anything at this point, I would just say it's a struggle. But you are breaking through that struggle. So if this message is resonating for you and you're hoping for clarity, it does come in, although it may take you 1, 2, and most likely for the majority of you 3 months to gain that clarity. Can we clarify the Hierophant here? For that Page of Wands to the Hierophant, can we just clarify that, please, for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements? Who or what is that? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Hierophant is being clarified by the 8 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, and the Emperor. Bottom of the deck, we have 5 of Wands. Yeah, it's a situation, environment, or connection that you have invested a lot into. And that 8 of Pentacles, a lot of years, or a lot of talent, or a lot of love, or a lot of money. And you chose to invest in whomever or whatever this is. And the 6 of Wands card sometimes could talk about public recognition. So whomever or whatever this is part of your public identity. It would be like I'm speaking to an Aries and I don't know, you've been a realtor for 30 years and now you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. You know, maybe I want to open up a bookstore. And then in February, you're like, I don't know. I mean, it does, you know, I do make decent money with it. And that 8 of Pentacles. And then you're like, no, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and open the bookstore. So then, and again, it's just an example. And then by March, you're like, okay, I'm going to continue to rent and sell homes or properties, but I'm really starting to now build the foundation of this bookstore, right? I'm starting to gather data and intel and information, and maybe starting to acquire product. And you're contemplating whether or not you'll have a brick and mortar storefront or if you'll just do it online. So again, that's just an example here. But what I mean by is like that public recognition, like you're known as this person's spouse, or you're known in this particular career field, or you are publicly associated with this dynamic, this family, or this community group. And so you're the individual who decided to be part of this. And now it also appears here to be your decision to decide to no longer be part of it as well. And again, with that 5 of Wands to the 7 of Wands to the 3 of Swords to that Death card, again, I feel like there's just a lot of conflict here. And it's internal to you. I don't know if you're having a lot of conflict with the situation, environment, or connection external to you, but I know internal to you, it's been a battle because, again, I don't think you dislike it. There's just a feeling here of, I'm not emotionally content being with this person anymore, or doing this anymore, or maybe even living in this area anymore. I mean, maybe for some of you, this is relocation. You know, maybe you're contemplating moving away from the town or city or region of the world that you grew up in, you know, in that 6 of Cups energy. The feeling here just seems to be like, in order for my life to transform and evolve and for me to become emotionally content, because your goal here is to have the 10 of Pentacles as well as the 10 of Cups, the feeling here is like, then I would have to move on from this. And I feel like that's a decision point that you're at. Like I get the feeling from you like, well, I could continue doing this, but it wouldn't be emotionally pleasing to me. Tell me about the Ace of Cups, because I feel like this is who or what you are moving towards. It's definitely an energy of independence. Tell me more about this Ace of Cups here. Tell me more about the Ace of Cups here for Aries. Tell me more about the Ace of Cups. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ace of Cups is clarified by, yeah, it's the World card, the 10 of Swords, and the 8 of Wands. You're moving towards the new in March, and you're doing it in a very tempered and balanced way. So this is not you erratically telling the family, F off, I don't want anything to do with you, or you're not like packing your bags and moving out of the marital home, or abruptly quitting your job on a Friday at 5 p.m. This is, I'm investing in the new. I'm moving forward towards the new. This is movement. This is swift change. I've made up my mind. This is the direction I'm going in. And I now understand that I can only move in this direction if I've definitively closed this out. I'd like to get 3 cards for what this situation, environment, or connection will feel like when you give them this notice. I feel like that's weighing heavy on you. We've seen the 3 of Swords a few times. I think because of the emotional connection, or the fondness, I should say, or the level of respect, again, I go back to this feeling, I don't think you hate whoever this is. We don't have cards here that show like this situation, environment, or connection is the devil or toxic. You know what I mean? It's just a feeling of, I'm no longer happy here and I just want to be happy. So let's see how they will be taking it. Can we get advice, or not advice, the Hierophant here? How will the Hierophant feel when Aries informs them of this decision? How will the Hierophant take this news? One more shuffle here. Thank you. And this is not to dissuade you. This is to give you a heads up so you can prepare for that, you know, conversation. We have the 6 of Swords. We have the 8 of Cups. And we have the 2 of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Swords. To the Queen of Wands, which is you here taking action on your own behalf, to the Star card. So when you inform this, you know, person, place, or thing, that you're moving on from them, there is disappointment. There is a feeling here of abandonment. This is someone who feels like maybe this could work. There's a little negotiating here that will be done. Like, well, what can we do? Can we improve time management? Like, if this is work, they might say, okay, well, do you want Fridays off, you know, to stay? Or instead of a 30-minute lunch, do you want an hour lunch? You know, this seems to be like you're telling them this is like almost like a regretful rite of passage. Like, I need to transition on from this. I do believe you're expressing to them your disappointment for having to walk away. Like, I wish I wasn't doing this, but this is the path that's being called to me. I don't think you'll use those exact words, but that seems to be the energy here. So again, I don't feel like it's an abrupt cutoff. I don't think you're being rude about it. And this person seems to be expressing to you, because the 6 of Swords is a card of, is a air card. It's part of the air suit. So it is communication. This seems to be them expressing to you their sorrow or their disappointment in your decision. And then here, there seems to be some negotiation here. Like, can we do things differently? Can we prioritize? Can we do better time management? The 7 of Swords to the Queen of Wands, to the Star card, to the Knight of Cups. I would expect them, Knight of Swords, 10 of Cups, promises this will get better. We can improve the work environment. We can improve the marriage. This seems to be like, well, I still have hope for this. I would rather not see you go. But that 7 of Swords tells me, 7 of Swords to the Queen of Wands, to the Star card. I almost get the feeling here like this person will play on that 6 of Cups that you have for them, the nostalgia or the respect or the love. Or, oh no, you can't leave. You've been here for 30 years, you know, or we've been married for 20 years. There seems to be some emotional, I don't like the 7 of Swords to the Knight of Cups, because that could just be someone over promising you something in order to make you stay. Knight of Swords to the 7 of Swords is someone who's verbally manipulative. And then the Knight of Cups to the 7 of Swords is someone who's emotionally manipulative. So there's some gaslighting here, or some promises that things will improve, that harmony or happiness or alignment can be achieved if you stay. So I do see some guilt, because this person is going to feel like a tower's been dropped on them when you finally tell them that you're leaving. And again, I don't get the feeling that you're telling them in the first 3 months of the year. So this just seems to be a heads up. The Tower, the Hangman, and the Hierophant. There you go. So that person, place, or thing, when you tell them it's time to go, they're going to, one, be shocked, and be shocked that you want to let go, because sometimes the Hangman energy does talk about letting go. But there's also this almost very rapid mental processing here of, what can I do? I'm speaking like this person now. What can I do to make you stay? So just a heads up of that, of some possible overpromising, wishful thinking, a little gaslighting. Oh, it's not as bad as you think it is, or it's not as bad as you say it is, or I'm happy. Why aren't you happy? I'm happy with this arrangement. You know, that seems to be what is playing here, but it's definitely tying into the level of emotion or respect or time investment that they know that you have with them or with the company or in the relationship. So I would, again, not telling you not to do that. I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just letting you know realistically what you need to most likely prepare for when you do have that conversation, which looks like it's coming a little further out. I don't think you're saying this in the first 3 months of the year. Now, second quarter might be more revealing, and we'll look at that when we get closer to it. But this just seems to be a lot of processing on your part. Let's close this out with some oracle cards, and then we'll do some kippers. Can we get an oracle card here for January, February, and March for Aries, please? January, February, and March. Let's get one more shuffle here. Thank you. January, February, and March. There you go. It's a new adventure. I'll read these cards to you in a second. 3 more oracle cards now, please, for Aries for January, February, and March. One more shuffle. Thank you. January, February, and March. There you go. So for January, you have goal. Set clear goals and move forward with courage. And I think that's what you're doing, because we saw you there show up as the Emperor, and that is your major power card in tarot. The Enchanted Forest, magic surrounds you. Open your heart to wonder. And I do think that that's what this is. One, you're wondering about, am I still aligned with the situation, environment, or connection? And then there's also this feeling of, but what happens if I move beyond it? You have silent strength. Again, I don't feel like you're telling this individual in February that you're moving on from them. Build your power in silence, waiting for the right moment to reveal your quiet strength and your quiet truth. And I think that's what you're doing. Enchanted Harp, let music heal your soul and express your creativity. So I feel like this is just a little bit of advice. Music might be a good way for you to soothe yourself in the month of February, when you kind of have this awakening, as what it feels like here, that you're like, yes, definitively, I'm going to move on from this. And then you have innovation for March, boldly experimenting and now open to new possibilities. And we see that here with the Ace of Cups. And you have blooming garden. I love that, right next to the Empress card. You will be nurturing your dreams, and they will now blossom in time. So the Aries collective is on the move in 2026 with some pretty significant, powerful changes here. You will shift the entire collective when you do this. And let's close it out now with some kippers. Yeah, all 12 zodiac signs will be empowered to make significant life changes. You are the leader of the zodiac. And so when Aries moves in quite the powerful way, the rest of the zodiac follows. And the rest of the zodiac is impacted by it as well. Can we get 2 Kipper cards, please, for January? Thank you. And for February. And for March. Okay. We have unexpected income, and you have the mature woman sideways. Remember, we saw that 8 of Pentacles. I feel like the mature woman sideways, and it could be mature man. And again, this could represent the person, place, thing, the location, whatever it is here that you're contemplating moving on from. This seems to be like, I don't know if I want to continue investing in whomever or whatever this is. And then you have community and false person. Remember what I was saying, that this, whatever it is here that you're investing in, it's like part of your public image. It's like this is part of, you're known as doing this job or working in this career field, or maybe you've been a staple in your community that you're now considering moving on from, or you're known as Mr. or Mrs. Blank because you're married to this individual. And this seems to be like, I feel like you want to be more authentic to who you are. You almost feel like you're false within your social circle, like within your community or your friends or your family, because you're continuing to show up in this way, and you just know internally it's no longer aligned to you. But again, I get that feeling like you will continue to do that until you have the next step ready. I don't think your decision here is something you're going back on. I think I had said that before. This just seems to be, I need to now start creating building blocks for the new path. And then you have main male. You could be main male or main female. And on the side, we have the Lovers. Again, I do believe with that 2 of Swords here, because in the After Tarot deck, it's like the decision has been made. So I get the feeling like the decision is made, but with the Lovers card sideways, you have not made a decision on when you will be informing the Hierophant, whomever or whatever they are, when you're moving on. But thoughts here is like you're thinking about it. And then we have house here and we have courtship. So whatever this connection here is for you, again, friend, family member, lover, professional, platonic, romantic, it has been a staple in your life, right? Like this home here depicted in this card. It is structured. It is stable. So I think you've given considerable amount of thought to this. I mean, if we look back at your readings in, oh, right behind that, we saw a message of concern. So I do think when you eventually, this is a little further out, eventually inform this person, I do think that they are, I don't think that they take it all too well. But I don't see conflict on their side. However, I do see verbal and possible manipulation, emotional manipulation to try to get you to stay. But anyway, I do think you've given a considerable thought. If we look at your 2025 readings, this was something really big for you, and you went back and forth on it. I moved with you in that shift. I felt it. You know, part of the year you were like, I'm going for the new, and then part of the year was like, I think I'm going to stay here because it's structured and stable, and it's all that I know. And then you're like, nope, I'm going. So I felt, you know, energetically doing your readings, I felt the back and forth. Once we get to March here, I don't feel the back and forth anymore. I just, the feeling I get here is like, I need to exist here until I can be here. So definitely 1 foot in the old world, 1 foot in the new. But I don't think we're going to see that seesaw back and forth from you like we saw in 2025. Now it just seems to be like you're silently building the new. And when you're ready to disclose this to this, you know, person, place, or thing, it's like that's when you'll do it in your time. But the decision here appears to be made. That is what I have for you, Aries. That is your, I don't even want to call it a sneak peek, pretty in-depth reading for the first quarter of 2026. If you like that message, it resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. Thank you once again for being a time traveler. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.